Hey everyone and welcome. My name is Leah and today I am sharing our fall home tour. I'm just going to walk you guys through our home and share a few different spaces with you all that I have decorated for the fall season. This video is going to be very relaxed and casual and laid back, so I hope you enjoy it and I'm so glad that you're here. We will start here in our front entryway. I did recently change out the table that was here before. If you've been here for a little while, you may remember I had a smaller black table sitting here before, and I recently switched it out for this dresser. It's painted in Sherwin-Williams tungsten, so I really like the nice splash of color, but it's still neutral, and it kind of fills the space better than the table that was there before. I always feel like in the fall months, I kind of like to add more decor, more layering, and more texture just to really cozy things up. My style is a lot less minimal in the fall and winter months, and so I kind of think this ties in with that. Our staircase, which I've shared with you all before, it's one of my favorite things in this old house of ours. It's original to the original farmhouse that sat here, I think it like early 1900s, before they came in the 60s and completely remodeled and added on to the house. The staircase and like the entryway, all of that is original. We were told from the previous owners that when they first bought the property and toured the original house that sat here, that the stairway was filled with hay. So they were using the house to like store hay and things like that. So definitely has changed a lot since then for sure. The stairway gallery wall is another recent project that I did, and it's something that I had wanted to do for a while, just was hesitant to do it because I didn't want it to feel too cluttered. But, I just thought sometimes you just have to try things. And if I don't like it or I get tired of it, all I have to do is spackle a few nail holes and touch up paint and it'll be fine. But I actually really love it. It's a variety of different frames. Most of them I actually just purchased on Amazon and a few of them are thrifted. I have a variety of art, things from scrapbooks or prints from Etsy that I have bought, digital downloads and printed them on my computer, and then also black and white family photos, which I just really love, and I'm trying to incorporate more of those into our home just to add more of a personal touch. And then here's a look at the gallery wall from upstairs, and then as you walk down the stairs you can see the dresser here with all of the frames and some fall touches like dried hydrangeas, the wheat bundle, things like that. It just all creates more of a cozy feeling in our house, and that's something I'm definitely striving for right now, is just making our house feel cozy and comfortable, and really thinking more about that than even what it looks like on camera. So a lot of times, things might look pretty in a picture, but it might not be actually practical or cozy and functional in real life. So definitely got to keep that in mind when you're Pinterest searching and trying to decide what you want to do in your home. Now we will head into the living room. This is a wall here that I have, on my list of things to tackle. I'm still not sure what I want to do. I've thought about a little table, maybe adding a lamp, some kind of art here that fills the wall a little better than what I have right now. Maybe even like a little coat rack, maybe some hooks on the wall. I really just don't know, but this is an upcoming project that I am currently trying to find inspiration for, so be looking for that in the future. But as we walk around this way, here's our one and only living room. We have one living space, and I really like it that way because it's less to have to clean and keep up with, and it's a room we use a lot. So we have our TV in here, furniture, and then we also have a separate kind of sitting area over by our wood stove. For the most part, I like to keep a very neutral home, and then for the different seasons, I just like to decorate in a way that's very natural and just feels like an extension of what is outside our door already. So, of course, it's fall. We have lots of beautiful colors. You can see out the window there, all the trees that are turning, and everything is just so pretty outside. I just really didn't want to bring a whole lot in here that would compete with that. So it's just an extension of what we already see. things like a few pumpkins, some dried florals, wheat bundles, and lots of dried hydrangeas. Our living room pretty much is the same as it has been for a while. I've had the same rug for quite a while. I get questions about it. It was actually from Rugs USA, and unfortunately it's discontinued. They no longer have it, but I am in the market for another one. There are some areas you can see up close here where the edges are kind of fraying and kind of unraveling a little bit. So here in the near future, I may try to find another one, and I'll keep you updated. But furniture in here is all IKEA. It's the Ektorp collection, which is also been discontinued, but I know they have another line out that's similar. It's just bigger and probably better, honestly. But we really like this furniture. Super affordable, really easy to clean. You can completely take the slipcovers off and wash everything. So that's really nice. Again, artwork in our home is very simple. This is just a Hobby Lobby print that I found. It kind of looks vintage, and I really like the color of the frame, but mostly I have a lot of Etsy prints in our home. And then over here, I do have a print from, I think this was from Kirkland's, the horse art, which I really like that. So probably will stick with that for a while longer. I haven't gotten tired of it. This little table here I just have in the corner. It's nice to have some lamplight at night, and I really haven't changed anything here over the past few months. It's basically stayed the same. I may do something different for Christmas, but for right now it serves its purpose. Just some subtle light in the evenings, that's always nice, and a plant. I'll back up here and show you the view of the mountains. It's one of my favorite things about the farm is being able to see the mountains, and as the leaves begin to fall off the trees, you can see them even more. And then when it snows, it's even more beautiful. So just overlook our yard. We need to do some yard work, but the mountains are just beautiful here. Over here is where I keep Mabel, our robot vacuum cleaner. I guess it's not the most beautiful thing to look at, but I have to say, so much use I get out of this thing. It has really been a blessing to me, as I feel like I'm constantly vacuuming and cleaning our floors. We live on a farm, we have kids and pets, and cleaning the floors is just a daily part of life. So this thing really helps me out. It was definitely worth the investment, and I've just kind of got used to her sitting here. So it doesn't really bother me anymore. There really was nowhere else to put it. But like I said, definitely worth having, so I don't mind to leave it sitting out here. For our TV wall, I don't know if it's recently, maybe back in the summer, I found this dresser on Facebook Marketplace, gave it a little makeover, and now we have the perfectly sized TV stand. Before I had a dresser here, which actually it's the dresser that's now in the hallway there, because that's just what I had. And it was just too narrow. It didn't fill the space properly, but now we have a dresser that's a little bit wider than the TV, which is always ideal. And I just painted it the same color as the darker trim work in our house, which is Sherwin-Williams Accessible Beige. If you are looking for a warm, creamy, neutral that really contrasts nicely against white, definitely try that paint. I have found that it works in any lighting situation, so that means I have used it pretty much in every room of the house so far. But this dresser that I found, I really like the legs on it, the little feet, and the knobs. I really love having knobs that just kind of blend in with the dresser. And it's nice because we do have some extra storage now for DVDs, PlayStation games, and then, you know, just random things like that. And for the decor here, just keeping it really simple. It's not really seasonal at all, with the exception of a few olive stems, which I don't really know if these are seasonal or not. I've decorated with them in the summer and the fall, but to me, they feel more fall to me. I don't know. But I kind of like having that splash of green there amongst all the neutral colors. And then this is a little candle that I got on Etsy. I'm not going to burn it. I just love the way it looks, and it actually smells like coffee. So I think that's a cute little find just to have sitting by the olive stand. And looking this way, this antique crock is filled with some dried grasses from outside. I don't know the exact variety. It's some kind of ornamental grass, but when I clipped it, it dried so pretty. And then I added a few hydrangeas to the front. These hydrangeas had already completely browned and died outside. I had no intentions of clipping them, but then I walked by them and I thought, you know, that's actually a really beautiful color. So I clipped them and added them to the crock, and I think that really completed the look. So one of the questions that sometimes I get is, how do you keep things that you clip from outside from making a big mess in your house? And honestly, I don't know if there is a way, but I just know, like, for instance, this area, I really don't come over here and mess with this any, and if you don't really touch it, it doesn't go anywhere. So I guess if I'm over here moving it around and things, it might shed a little bit, but I really haven't had any issues with that. I just kind of leave it be and it's fine. If some of it falls on the ground, the next time I vacuum, that'll take care of it. So I'll try to give you a couple different viewpoints here. This is the side door where our porch is that I'm kind of backed up against right now. You can see the gallery wall there, the addition of the dresser in the hallway just really cozies things up and makes it feel a lot less bare and minimal, which, like I said, I'm really liking that right now. But our house has a pretty open feel since we removed this wall. So from here you can see right into the kitchen, but you can also see the entrance to our home and the living space. As far as throw pillows, I've, again, had the same throw pillows for a long time. I try to choose things that I don't think I'm gonna get tired of, and that'll kind of work for all the seasons. These were from Target from a couple years ago. They were from the Studio McGee line. And then the olive covers here are Amazon. These pillows I ordered from an online shop. I can't remember exactly the name of it now, but I'll link them if you're interested. These were more of a splurge, I will say. These covers were more of a splurge. I originally got them for our bedroom makeover, and I was of the mindset, you know, wanting to purchase quality items that will stand the test of time, so I probably spent more than I normally would on those. Don't know that I would do it again, but I do like the pillow covers. Over here, I just have some plain colored pillow covers. Again, they work for every season. These are really pretty linen, and those are from H&M. Super affordable. I think maybe less than $10 for a pillow cover. So I've got several of those. Another pillow that I ordered from that shop where I got the ones originally for our bedroom, and then more of the Amazon and H&M pillows here. Okay, so now we are on the other side of the living room, and this is another Facebook Marketplace find, which I originally got it to go over between the two chairs, but once I got it home, I just felt like it worked well on this wall. We do still have to bring a wood rack in here at some point, so I may have to do a little furniture rearranging to make that work, but I paid $20 for this table on Facebook Marketplace, and I was gonna refinish it with like the oven cleaner and do all that, but once I got it in our home, oh, hang on, Jake's wanting in. Once I got it in our house, I just really like the color that it is, and I think it matches the floors and just the warmer wood tones in general that our home has, so I left it. Another thing that I worked on recently were the built-ins here. I kind of restyled them for fall, added more decor, lots of vintage thrifted books, just to fill the bookshelves a little more than what I had before. I feel like it's a cozy, layered look, and it's unique because it's mostly thrifted finds, so I always love switching these out. I think probably one of the things that I get comments on the most, and not necessarily in a good way, is our wood stove. So many people point it out, and I don't know if wood stoves are just not as common in other areas as they are here, but we love our wood stove. It is basically how we heat our entire home. We don't have central heat and air and all that. So this is how we heat our home, and it's cozy, it's affordable, you don't have to worry about the power going out. I've actually made coffee and cooked soup on the stove before during power outages in the winter, and it's just something we really look forward to. We always get excited for the first fire of the season, and I love the way it looks too. It just makes our house have that old-fashioned feel, and it smells amazing, it feels amazing, and it's just something that we really enjoy. We tiled the floor here because we didn't want to do like the mat. We just thought this would look better, look more built in. And I've had several people talk about how I could just do an insert And technically we could, but those really just don't heat your house like this kind of stove would. This stove, I mean, like I said, it's our primary heat source. And so like the little inserts that you can get are more for looks. I mean, they might give off a little heat, but they certainly wouldn't heat your whole home. So that's why we have this one, and we truly love it. I know it's not for everyone, but it's a part of our home that we truly do love. I think the only thing I haven't talked about in here yet is a few of the furniture pieces. So the end tables were here when we bought the house. They were like an orangey oak color, which I didn't love. And back then I pretty much painted everything white. So I had painted them white, but I took some time a while back and stripped those down and got them back to their original wood state. Added a little bit of a warm stain to them, and I like them so much better now. Sometimes I can't get over how much furniture I painted and now wish that I hadn't. Our coffee table is actually an antique table. That was my husband's when he was little. It has the really pretty little chairs that go with it. So it's actually a children's table, but we're using it as a coffee table since our kids are no longer little anymore. So they really didn't need it as a kid's table. As far as styling, I just have some books out that I enjoy flipping through, and then a pumpkin. And I'm actually burning a Christmas candle right now. I had it from last year and just brought it out and thought it would be kind of festive to burn that today. So we're back in the hallway here, and now I'm gonna show you around in the kitchen. This area just opens right up to the living room, and we don't actually have a dining room. I've always thought that would be fun, but honestly, this is probably more functional for our family and just our lifestyle. But we have more of just an eat-in kitchen, but I do try to make it feel like its own separate space. Just things like adding, sorry about Jake, they're barking at the mailman. But I added an area rug here, and that just really helps to kind of anchor the table so it doesn't feel like it's just floating around in the space. Adding the chandelier, which I've had for probably close to 8 years now. That was a Lowe's find. And then adding a piece of dining room furniture. So that in this case, we used this hutch, and I'll give you another view of that here in just a second. Okay, so we're on the other side of this space, and the hutch was here when we bought our house. We just bought it from the person who lived here before. I think I paid around $200 for it. It was bought when the family that owned the property before had originally remodeled the house and added onto it and all of that in the 60s. So that is an original piece of furniture from that time when they did all that. So I thought that was really neat to be able to keep that in the home and incorporate it in our style. But I kept it the original wood finish. It's a maple piece, but I did paint the backing in this really pretty green color. I have this pretty set of dishes that my mom found for me at Goodwill, actually. And so I think the green paint just really helps the dishes to pop. Not a very seasonal look, I guess you could say. White dishes are always in season, so I just try to keep things very simple. And then I added the basket of dried hydrangeas to the top to kind of add an element of fall to this area. I'm not sure if I've mentioned curtains yet, but our curtains are all from IKEA. Curtains can get so expensive, especially when you are, trying to find the longer lengths. And for my curtains, I really like them to kind of puddle on the floor. I don't want them to be too short, but I kind of like them to kind of gather at the bottom. I think that's a really pretty look. But in order to get them long enough, you usually have to pay quite a bit. But at IKEA, you can get them for a really good price, and I really like the quality too. So I've got white ones in here, and then in our living room, which we've already looked in there, but I forgot to mention the curtains. I just have more of like a linen natural color. And then I'm trying to keep things cohesive with the curtain rods. So I've finally got all the curtain rods switched out to be matching, and they are just a really pretty warm gold, just very simple. And then I switched them out in here too and added the warm gold curtain rod. Those are Amazon. Another thing that is different from the last time I did one of these kind of casual tours is this wall. So before I really didn't have anything here. It was just very plain, but I decided I wanted to, again, cozy it up for this season. So I did a makeover on some things that I already had. This table was yet again another table that I had originally painted white, and decided to go ahead and strip all that paint away, get it back to its original wood state, and then I added just a warmer stain to it. I did a video on that a while back too and shared the process if that's something you want to see. And then just added some decorations that I already had, lamps that I had stored in the attic, and then also a mirror that I already had. It had also been painted white, but I spray painted it and added a little bit of stain to the edging just to give it kind of an antique look. So really like how that filled this wall in a little better. And then originally the basket down here was a lot prettier with all the hydrangeas, but our bunny likes to get into the hydrangeas and make a mess. So that's what happened there. As soon as I catch him doing it, I come and get him because he probably shouldn't be eating things like that. But anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take the hydrangeas out and maybe do blankets and a pillow or something instead, something he won't eat. And then here's a look from just a little further back as I'm into the kitchen, and you can see how the dining space flows from the kitchen into the living area. And the walls, we did do 2 shiplap walls just kind of as accents. I don't really love an accent wall that would be like a totally different color from the other 3 walls, but I do think it's fun to add an accent wall in the form of like some kind of different texture. So we went with shiplap in here. I have at various times hung some artwork on that wall, but I've just found that I just really like it just as is, with nothing on it, just the shiplap plain. I think it allows the chandelier to stand out, and then it also gives me more freedom and flexibility to decorate the table setting, you know, various ways. So I'm not competing with any kind of artwork on the wall behind it. Now for the kitchen, I'll start here. These are some magnets that I got from Amazon, and they are so handy to have. They're really pretty, and then they're also very sturdy. So I just use those to hang aprons here on the side of the refrigerator. Just kind of makes it look a little better, but it's also functional. But this is the area you see right off of our back door. Our island, we kind of did a DIY there. These are just some stock cabinets that we bought, and then added some shiplap and a butcher block countertop to give us some more storage and a nice island space. For the chairs for the island, I wanted to keep it, again, very simple and something that would be timeless and I wouldn't grow tired of. So I just went with these shaker style counter stools. They're solid wood, and I'm really happy with the purchase. I got them from Birch Lane, and they actually had a lot of different color options. I did have to wait a little while for them to get here, but it was definitely worth the wait. And I think even if my style changes, that these will always, you know, work for our home. I try to keep our kitchen in general pretty simple, but I also want it to feel inviting. But I want to have everything that's sitting out be of use and actually be functional, not just decorative. So I usually just keep a bowl here with fruit in it. Right now we have some bananas. This is an antique, or not really antique, I guess more vintage style bowl that was my great-grandmother's. And then the placemats, I just put them here. I had a couple left over from when I bought a pack recently for the table over there. So just stacked those there for a little texture. The lights, this was another thing we switched out when we gave our kitchen a little facelift last year. But I just love the look of a vintage schoolhouse light. So we went with one in the hallway, and then I was able to find these pendants marked down on clearance at Kirkland's and added those above our island. The piece of wood that's on the ceiling, that's covering a place in the ceiling where cabinetry was hanging down before. And all of our ceilings that we have not, you know, changed over to the beadboard are plaster. So that is just a disaster to deal with. So because we didn't want to replace the whole ceiling, we just kind of did that. And I like it because it adds a little splash of color and character up there. I've thought about maybe just painting it white, but I kind of like the wood look. So just gonna leave it as is for now. The rest of the cabinets in here are original to the house when they remodeled in the 60s. So they're solid wood cabinets, really well built, nothing at all wrong with them. And I love the vintage look that they add. So we kept those and just kind of replaced everything else around them. Painted them, added a beadboard backsplash, updated the sink and the faucet and all the appliances, and of course cabinet hardware. I did change all that out. We originally did the laminate countertops in here just as a temporary solution because we were doing this during the pandemic and you really just could not get anything done. You couldn't get anything ordered, and so we really needed countertops if we didn't want to have to wait months and months to be able to actually use our kitchen. So we just went with some in-stock laminate countertops from Lowe's, and that was 2 years ago, and I really like them. They are nice, they are easy to maintain and clean, and I have nothing bad to say about them at all. So definitely wasn't intended to be a long-term thing, but now that I have them, I really actually like them. Eventually, we probably will do some kind of upgrade to the countertops, but I'm really not in any hurry to do that, honestly. I like them just fine, and the color's very soft and neutral. They had a couple different options at the time. They probably still do. This was more subtle, and then they had the more veiny marble look, which I didn't like that as good for our kitchen, but definitely could see that it would work in a lot of other homes, but definitely happy with that purchase. Above the sink, I just have a peg rail shelf here, which I bought from Home Depot online. It came unfinished, and I just painted it the same color as the beadboard, which is just like an ultra pure white and a glossy finish. And for decorating, it pretty much looks the same all the time. I switched out the art for fall, added a couple of faux pumpkins, but other than that, I pretty much keep the hooks the same. Just a few little small pictures, basket, and then I always have a towel of some kind hanging up there. I keep my cleaner out because I use it all the time just to spray down my countertops. And then over here, these are just bottles. I originally bought those at Lowe's probably a year ago, but I just refill them with the soap that I want to use. So it's not what was in them originally, but I like the way they look, so I just refill them with the soap that I actually like to use. And then I just have this little crock here filled with a few dish brushes, things like that. And on this wall is, of course, our refrigerator, which is super tiny, but we couldn't fit a larger fridge in this space without taking down the cabinet. And I just really didn't think we could take that cabinet down and make it look right. Because it offers more of like a built-in look, and it's, again, these vintage cabinets that I really like. Didn't want to mess with them, so we just stuck with a smaller fridge option. And then we have like a bigger freezer out in the garage, and I'm actually on the hunt for a refrigerator to go out there too. So really not a big deal. I've found that it works just fine. And then over in this corner, I just keep my mixer out, a couple of pumpkins just to add a little fall, and then a little coffee area right there. And then over here, of course, the stove, and then I have just a little riser here. I found that at Hobby Lobby. Just added a few fall dried florals, and of course salt and pepper shakers, olive oil, my little spoon rest, just things that are practical and functional. And then on the other side, I have an antique crock filled with all of my wood utensils. Most of them I do use, some of them are just more decorative. But we do have like the microwave over the stove situation here. When we first moved in, I didn't really want that, so we took the microwave that was here before down and just did like a range hood. But then I found that having the microwave there was just very practical and functional, and it just fit this kitchen better. So I decided to go back with that when we spruced the kitchen back up. And it also cleared some counter space because I was having to put the microwave on the counter before. But I really don't mind it. I know it's not a popular choice these days, but it's very convenient and functional. And at this point in my life, that is what I'm all about. Then over here, you can see we still have not put up the trim piece that goes in that corner, and that's been like 2 years since we did this. So definitely still need to take care of that. But wanted to do a few open shelves just to add some decorative things and a plant for some color. And then the trash can is right here. Before we had the trash can under the sink cabinet, but that always drove me crazy. So I thought if I can find a trash can that I don't mind the way it looks, then I will get one I can leave sitting out. This one I really like. It's ivory rather than being white, and the stainless steel kind of coordinates with the appliances, and I think it just works. We are getting ready to get like a Berkey water filter though. I've wanted one of those for a long time. And so when that comes, I'm probably gonna have to rearrange a little bit because it'll probably go on this wall somehow. So I'll figure that out when the time comes. And then here's our back entrance. You can see our little lambs out there. They always hang out right at my back door. And then I get a lot of questions about this calendar, which I've had for several years. I bought it when I was really into that farmhouse style with the galvanized everything, and I saw this and had to have it. It was from Decor Steels. I've probably had it 5 or 6 years. I mean, I've had it a while, but I don't know that it exactly fits my style anymore, but I loved it so much I just couldn't part with it. And then above that I just have a frame. I think that's from Target, and I just switch out the artwork seasonally. Again, those are just digital downloads from Etsy that I find and I print out, pop them in a frame, and it makes really great art for your home. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this look around our home for the fall season. I have a few other areas of the house that I may share in the near future that I didn't share today, so stay tuned for that. But I'm so thankful for each of you for taking time to watch my videos and spending a little bit of your time here with me. I hope you all have a very blessed rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.